the next best opportunity is the one that's just around the corner. So I would always push for what's best and best and best. My high standards has helped us to grow a business into a company, from a company to a nationwide company, from a nationwide company to a global empire. That's my high standards that I drive all the time, and I will never relent. I just have a standard of what I need to wear, what I need to be, how I want to present myself in the world, that it's never, in my mind, my loss, it's their loss.
You're not going to get something that other people don't have if you're not prepared to really apply yourself and work hard. That first few years of being an entrepreneur is the hardest. I was in a day job, sold an investment property to make it work, and also working 7 days a week. You can't shortcut the hard work. Yeah. It comes hand in hand, but it'll be worth it. You will get the things that you desire, the lifestyle that you want, if you just apply yourself every day.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Elevate with Vic and Juls.
So we've created this podcast to showcase our journey through entrepreneurship, as well as having multiple businesses, 2 kids under 3, and all of the raw stories behind it.
Now that we've done 1 season of just us on the microphone, we've decided to invite some friends to season 2 who are all incredible entrepreneurs, and they will be joining us on the couch to share their journey and their learnings along the way. And we think you're going to love it.
So if you like what you're hearing, make sure that you like us, follow us, as well as share us to your friends and family, so we can continue to grow and do what we do.
Thanks, everyone. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Elevate with Vic and Juls. And today we're so excited and honoured to have our beautiful friends Boris and Mariecris from Abundance Living Co. in the studio with us. Yay!
Thanks for having us, guys. We've been really looking forward to this, and it's been a long time coming. Like we had to book it in like a month in advance to get you guys.
Oh, please, to get you guys. You guys are so busy.
But we're super excited, super pumped to be here.
Yeah, yes. we really appreciate it, obviously, and we've been following you for a long time now and seeing what it is you guys have done incredibly well over a long period of time, with the impact that you've been able to create, not only for yourselves, but for a lot of your clients as well. And so it's a privilege to be here sitting and talking with you guys.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's absolutely our honour. Yes. And why I stumbled because I feel like both Victor and I have admired your relationship, both as husband and wife, but more importantly as business partners as well, what you guys have been building for the last, I'd say, three and a half years of knowing each other. And so I feel like we are such celebrity in the podcast.
Also like incredible mentors and coaches, in this program that we're all in, and we've watched your journey and your stage presence for a very long time, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, we've been looking after you.
Good.
So the first question to kick off, don't laugh, but what business are you guys in?
We planned our.
We've been practicing this one for about 7 years now.
7 years, yeah.
Nice.
So we're in the business of helping people to create wealth, utilizing property and business as a vehicle. We found that people are generally going to find themselves in a position where they know they need, want, and deserve more. And we create the pathway to creating wealth that enables them to have freedom. That's what we're all about and what we've been doing over a long period of time. We've coached and mentored between us over 2,500 people to be able to scale their companies, to be able to acquire businesses, to be able to live the life of their dreams. We've also helped over 1,000 people on top of that to be able to become financially free by building a profitable property portfolio from all around Australia and across the world.
Wow. That is
awesome.
So well trained. I mean, don't ask us that question because I don't think that's you.
Well, our mentor, our common mentor would be very disappointed if we answered that wrong. We've been around a long time for it to get that question wrong. First question.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Do you want to go?
Well, I would like to know, how did you guys actually started the business? What made you, I guess, go into quitting your jobs and then starting your own business?
Becoming entrepreneurs.
Yeah, absolutely. So Boris and I met each other at a later age in life. We were about 35 when we initially met. I was an architect, and I was doing that for about 12 years. And doing really well. Like I was like climbing the corporate ladder, as we say. I was starting up offices in Beijing, in Queens, in Brisbane, and we had 4 offices in our architectural firm. So I was part of like kind of like a BDM. I was getting tenders across the door and making the company a lot of money. And when I thought I had increased the value of the company, I went up to my boss and I asked for a 10% pay rise. And he said, look, I want to give it to you. You will get ownership in 5-10 years time. But right now we just don't have the margins in the business to give you that 10% pay rise. So as much as I loved my boss, I love the company, I really wanted to focus on just taking control of my own destiny and my own life. And I started to create a plan to exit that job. My boss was actually super supportive over it. And I made the leap maybe 2 years after that conversation because I wanted to take charge of my destiny, of my future.
Wow.
My journey when it comes to business is a little bit different. I probably from late 20s realized that I am unemployable. And how I know that is because, first of all, I had already had multiple jobs across multiple industries, always from a sales, BDM, account manager background. I would reach a stage of my journey within a company when I realized that the work that I'm putting in, the results I'm getting them is not being reciprocated back to my back pocket. So it's not about money. It's just my ability to be able to create money was limited by a ceiling of a place where I'm working that doesn't provide the environment that allows me to shine. I'd already been involved in businesses from a very young age. I've got an extensive, like all the different things you can think of as a kid. I was selling mega warheads in grade prep so I can eat free lollies. I was washing cars, mowing lawns, doing all those sort of things as a kid growing up. Then I had a mini bike shop as a teenager where I would pimp my ride, help people to, make their BMXs look awesome, put the pegs and the different colored wheels on it. Always entrepreneurial from a younger age. Then later on in life, as I started to venture into the space of working, still having a job, but then also looking for things outside of just a regular work environment. I'm pretty sure I've had 30 to 35 different jobs, getting fired from every single job that I ever worked at. Not because I wasn't good at what I did, was I just reached that stage where I've done everything I possibly can, set sales records, become the star of the show in some aspects, and then realizing that there's something bigger and greater out there for me. As a story that I tell in our environments where we talk about the last time I ever got fired and having the conversation with my dad and letting him know that I've decided I want to be an entrepreneur and take it seriously. Multiple opportunities came on the table. The one that I ran with was in regards to car accessories, so GPSs, reversing cameras, squawkers, all those type of technologies for cars, standing out on Sunday markets. So I still had a job, but I go out on a Sunday market and sell stuff. That was my first foray into understanding supply chain, buyer demand, creating marketing around it, building a website for all of that. We ended up getting those products into Super Cheap Auto Barn, all around Victoria. And I'm proud to say that the business that I was first involved with is still around today. As in our world, it's still a number 3, so it still pays even years later after I've long gone finished up with it. I created everything around it. We got it into Jayco, into caravan manufacturers. And that was my first entry into business. I was going to start my own finance broking firm. So I've got a finance background as well in and amongst all my careers that I've been involved with. And the critical moment where it said, I'm going to be an entrepreneur came when I remembered Macquarie Bank. There was a Royal Commission that came in and they redid everything in the way that brokers can get paid for doing finances. And they limited their brokerage fees from a healthy amount to a very small limited amount. I saw the writing on the wall. I said, I need to go out and do something on my own. I can't do this anymore. I ventured into the space of, and I was going to start my own brokerage firm, by the way, at that moment. And instead I went into the space of real estate. And through that foray into real estate is how I met my now wife, Mariecris. And the goal was never to build a global empire. The goal was just to be employable in my own space where I can take all the lessons of all the great managers, of all the great inspiration I've ever received from everyone I've ever worked under and create an environment that other people would love to come work for us.
Wow. I love that. I feel like I just have like 1,000 questions because of what you guys were sharing. I have to say, I think obviously completely two different journeys and how you met. We want to come to that point too. But both of you all referenced the fact that you were in that kind of BDM sales positioning before entering entrepreneurship. How important is it to be a good salesperson to start a business? What would you say?
Oh, gosh, it's everything. It's not even to start a business. It's to just get through life. Like everything's, in my opinion, everything is influence and persuasion. So if it's not about selling and being sleazy about it, but even with each other, we're selling to each other each day of even in our marriage, because we're totally different people. We have totally different interests. And obviously we want to create a life together and have fun together and do things together. So we're selling to each other our interests. Yeah. So I never went to I went to one football game before I met Boris, probably 2 in my whole time of living in Melbourne. Since we've been together, I probably go to 5 or 6 a year because that's his interest. And now I'm getting interested in it because he's sold me on this concept of AFL. But I think it's super important, not just for if it's a skill. If you're thinking, oh, should I get into business or should I have a career? What do I do? Do I need sales? I think you just need it for life in general. How do you talk to your family? How do you talk to your friends to get them on a path that they are going to prosper or have a better life? That's all influence and persuasion. So yeah, I think it's important for everything.
To me, sales is everything. I've been selling since I was 6 years old, effectively, and across all industries. And I think that it's a skill that nobody's born with. Everybody has a desire to want to help somebody else in some way, bringing products and services to other people that need it. Selling is just finding a marketplace and effectively bringing something that can fulfill that marketplace. For anybody that's in business, the critical component to growth is sales, because sales creates money. Money is then more team members you're hiring, more marketing you can spend on other things. The bigger the office that you can have, the more expansion. Nothing happens without money, and money happens because of sales. Simple as that. So I'm passionate about sales. I love teaching sales. We're involved in teaching a multi-day workshop on sales as well, which we've done 3-4 times now. I just think that anybody who's ever decided that they ever want to be successful has to first decide that they want to get good at sales. Yeah. And sales isn't, and Mariecris mentioned it before, it's not a sleazy thing. It's your obligation. And as our mentor says, if you know that your product or service can genuinely help somebody, you have no right not to learn how to sell it. Because there's too many other products and services out there that are being sold by people that are really good at sales, but the product doesn't actually work for them, but they're good at selling it. So then they make all the money and all the riches, and people are being unfulfilled. So to us, it's an obligation to continue to keep bringing the best products and services and also being really good at selling it as well.
I mean, and just to add to that, like Boris and I have had totally different sales experience. Boris has been selling since he could talk, whereas I haven't. I started at a really late age, but I identified that if I want to get anything in life, even if it's that promotion, even if it's that getting a pay rise, from the company that you're hired in, you need to learn how to sell. Like even if it's getting the guy to ask you out or the girl to say yes, I think it all starts from learning how to find what their values are and making a win for them as well as you.
I love that.
Yeah. In that sales aspect with Mariecris, so she sold to me why we should get married. Yeah.
Oh, really?
She didn't say to me, "You need to marry me." But
she's like, "This is the ring I want."
Yeah, we'll get to that. We had already been in a relationship for a while, but because I'd met her at 35, I had actually made a decision that year. Not a decision, but a realization that year. I'm like, I'm 35. I know I've got friends who've already been married and divorced. I've got friends who've already, got kids and set up their life. And I'm 35 and I haven't even started on that journey. I'm probably not going to get married. And then when I met Mariecris, I wasn't like, I'm going to marry you. I met Mariecris as it's a relationship. It started evolving. And then she utilized sales aspects to sell to me why we should get married without putting the foot down and saying, you need to marry me or I'm going to walk out on you. It wasn't like that at all. But she absolutely used sales. Now, she knows this because she knows me well. I'll always reward good salespeople, even if the product or service that they're selling is something that I need or want. So I love going into any situation of sales where somebody's selling to me, and I'm like, you know what? You're so good at sales. I want to encourage you to keep doing it. So I'm buying it. Now, she was really good at what she did, but here's the next part of it. Once I'd made the decision, you're right. What's our future going to look like? I then had to use sales to afford the jewelry to be able to give to her the thing that she deserved as well. Yeah. Because I always said to her, well, if I'm going to get married, I want to do it properly. I don't want to buy you what I can afford. I want to stretch myself to show to you that I'm willing to stretch myself for the rest of our lives. That we're going to have the wedding. Now, at the time, we didn't know what kind of wedding we were going to have. It ended up being a spectacular wedding because of sales. Again, we had to make the money to pay for the event that we put on. With her, she's just good at encouraging people to be their best. That's also an element of sales as well, to your own team members, to be able to dig deep, to understand their motivators, to get them to move towards action. That's sales.
I love that. I think there was quite a few gems in that sales strategy and jewelry purchasing. Watch out, Vic.
No, I never saw it like that, but now,
I had a minimum that I was saying yes to, guys.
I'm going to have to.
I have to be a certain carrot.
I'm going to have to make more sales. But I love what you guys are saying because, like, you know, not only do you see sales and this is through influence as well and persuasion, but it's like this sales is all about everything in life as well. Like I think it is a negotiation of everything that you want and you need and also where you're going to get it from. Basically, it's what sales is, right? And I love how, you know, business is one thing, but also seeing it in other aspects of a life is really important because sometimes things are a transaction, whether it's a relationship or not. There is a benefit and there is a give and there's a want as well. So, yeah.
Absolutely, I agree.
Very interesting.
Boris, I want to go back to the story of the fact that I think you said that you have been fired multiple times. Is that a true fire or like did you like said, I'm out of here kind of situation? And like
I don't know what I'll refer over to Mariecris. To what extent am I allowed to do this? And I say allowed because we have conversations in private and there's things that we talk about in private that I just let loose, right? Yeah. And then she says to me, I just want to remind you, if you're ever asked a question about something, just not the whole hog. So I'm just asking you, what are your thoughts? The whole hog?
So I remember, I'll just say like this. When he first told me this, we're dating 2 months in, right? And, you know, like I'm thinking in 2 months dating, you're supposed to give your best and show your best that you're like, if you're a man, you're going to protect and provide. If you're a woman, you're going to nurture and you're going to love. And I remember I got fired from the very first job. I've never been fired in my life. Got fired. I already had a side business, which was fine, but which is the business that we have now, one of the businesses. And I was crying. I was in tears and I came home. I'm like, I had a bad day. And he came over. We weren't living with each other. And I got fired from my job. And he's like, yeah, I've been fired for every single job.
Okay, is this your first rodeo?
Well, that's exactly where I want to go with the question.
Like, okay, so what does that mean? Like, and I'm thinking, man, do I run? Like, he's in my house. Like, what do I do? And then I realized that it was because it's almost like he sabotaged that he doesn't, he's a Leo. Boris is a Leo. And Leos, if you know anything about this, he's a very loyal person. Like he's loyal to the death. If he's on your team, he'll be on your team forever, unless you turn against him and you know, do something really bad. And so the way I would see it from my perspective is he got fired because he didn't want to quit because of that loyalty.
Yeah.
So I refuse to quit, but I make it a very uncomfortable position that they make sure that I can no longer, because I don't want to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
I want to leave on good terms, as good a terms as I can. I will still literally talk to any previous relationship or any place I've ever worked at. I'm happy to talk to anybody there. The concept is I got fired because I put myself in a position to get fired.
Yeah.
But remembering that they broke a promise.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Mariecris was kind of skirting around the issue, basically, if you break my trust, I will never forget it. I will give anybody one chance. Anybody. I don't care what their background is. I don't care what I've heard about them from other people. Everybody gets one chance. But once you break that one-time trust, you'll never get a chance again. In jobs where I would work, they would promise you based upon your output for your reward, whether your reward's going to be money or promotions or whatever. But when they keep stretching the truth and they don't make it easier, they make it harder, that's when I go, okay, I will sabotage this to make them feel it because they watch me walk out the door, and so do all of my abundance of sales that I would bring for that company at the time. So it's kind of like it's an approach that I didn't mean to have, but it worked for me at the time where I'm like, effectively, the only way I could get myself out of a place if it came down to it was I would tell my direct line manager or the owner of the company to get effed. So I've got this, I should write a book about, it should be like Boris told you to get effed. And it's just like 35 different ways that I told somebody to get effed. And I've done it so many different ways. But I don't swear at them, but I bring it up.
You do, don't lie.
Okay, I swear at them, okay? But I put them in a position where they're like, they have to weigh up whether or not they are going to do the thing they said they were going to do or I'm walking out the door. And that's when the moment happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay.
So yeah, I definitely think he wouldn't frame it, because when he framed it to me, I'm like, man, this is a red flag, big time.
What's wrong with this guy?
Because that was my first job that I'd been fired with.
Yeah.
But then as I got to know him, it's because of his loyalty and because he doesn't want to be the first one to break up with people.
Yeah.
He'll sabotage it till the fact that they're done with him.
Yeah. I really like that. I'm glad you had that pre-framing of your story.
Not for today. This is our life. There's so many things I say to her where she's like, yeah, that's cool, but not in public, okay? Someone's going to answer the questions. Just tell me, absolutely, just not in public.
I guess where I was going with that in that curiosity sense was kind of like what you were saying, your first job that you got fired, you came home crying, because that's being fired from a job isn't necessarily an exciting factor. So my question to you, Boris, now maybe I need to rethink it, is like, how do you get up from being fired to then want to continue and then now get into your own business? Which, to be honest, I feel like all of us, obviously as entrepreneurs, every day we go into a room pitching for our service, we get fired time and time again when a client says no to us. But like, how do you find that motivation to go, stuff that, I'm going to keep going?
I need to preface it by saying I have very, very unrealistically high standards. Okay? I come from a Ukraine, but Russian background where everybody from our culture all drive European cars, all live in the big house, all live in the good suburbs. So I come from a culture of high standards. When somebody doesn't meet my high standards, I don't feel like I lost, I feel like they lost. You're saying, how do you get back up? I'm like, it just wasn't meant for me. One of my first jobs was in door-to-door sales in Foxtel. And there was a guy that I worked with, and he taught me something really interesting. It's something that I don't recommend anyone else do. But when you knock on a door and somebody says, hi, how are you? What do you want? And then that person realizes you're there to sell something and they go, see you later.
Yes.
What he taught me something, which I carried for so long afterwards, was if you really want to get under their skin, just say, that's your loss. Now, that might not sound like much, your loss, but go and try and say that to one of your clients now. That's fine, totally, your loss. Watch what happens to them. Make sure you say to someone you never want to deal with again, because they're going to get furious. And I learned that, but I don't say that to people. And I mean, maybe I've said it recently, but I can't remember. But I hold it inside of me where I just say it's their loss, because I've got high standards and they didn't meet my standards. I'm not rising to I'm not lowering myself down to your standard. You need to rise up to mine. And so you say to bounce back, I'm like, the next best opportunity is the one that's just around the corner. So I would always push for what's best and best and best. For Mariecris, obviously she's had to deal with me now for the better part of 9 years. And she's realized, yes, I have high standards, but it's for a good thing. My high standards has helped us to grow a business into a company, from a company to a nationwide company, from a nationwide company to a global empire. That's my high standards that I drive all the time, and I will never relent. I don't go back on that. And because I'm like that, even though I always have to have high standards, I always have to wear Hugo Boss shoes, Hugo Boss pants, Hugo Boss jacket. I just have a standard of what I need to wear, what I need to be, how I want to present myself in the world, that it's never, in my mind, my loss, it's their loss.
Yeah.
And I think it's an Eastern European thing that I've had to get used to. Boris is the first proper Russian Ukrainian that I've met, and their act of love is telling you the brutal truth.
Oh, yeah.
So it might not feel nice, but
Yeah.
that's their way of showing love.
Yeah.
And it sounds very jolting, but they're coming from a place of love.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's probably one of the brutal truth at times is exactly what people need at the same time. Because like there's no point of sugarcoating things when like, you know, there's something obviously, you know, that's sparked there. And letting people know that brutal truth is a thing that actually makes things change for people. So yeah, love that.
Yeah. Have you found, I'm just going to dip into culture for a moment here because you know, obviously you're Filipino.
Yes.
And with the brutal truth and how, I guess, starkly different culturally it's been, how have you navigated that in a relationship when sharing feedback with each other?
Well, it's not even just our cultures that are different. We have different religions. So Boris is predominantly grown up in a Jewish household. I've grown up in a Baptist Christian household. So our Christmas, when both of our families come together, is very interesting. It's a lot of fun. You know, like it's definitely a different dynamics, but I think there's a lot of grace that comes when you've got cross-cultural marriages coming together, families together, because it's like, oh, well, they're just like that, you know, and you just sort of like brush it off. Whereas, you know, I've been with Filipinos in the past before and, you know, the standards are different. But in terms of directly our relationship, the same thing. There has to be a lot of grace. There has to be a lot of, communication. Okay, this is what I need to be, how I need to be talked to, or what I prefer to happen. But there has to be also forgiveness and grace to say, okay, well, we're different. And we're still on the same team. We've still got the same goal at the end of the day, but we've come from different cultures and environments. But it just makes it a lot more interesting. And then when you work through all of that stuff, the love deepens even more too.
Yeah.
The part that has been a little bit different on my end is the acceptance that Mariecris's family had of me. It didn't happen straight away because we did have a moment there when her parents found out that she'd moved in with me and they absolutely lost it, right? So
to be fair, I had another Eastern European that I was dating before Boris for 8 years that didn't want to commit. So they're thinking in their head,
not another one.
Oh my
not
God.
another one. So I'm going to type.
My high standards that I was talking about before, that actually comes from my mum. My mum's just got basically unrealistic standards. That comes from our culture. She drives that more than anything. My dad's got standards in a very much a cleanliness, like, you know, visual way. My mum's got standards in a value set. She's just like, you violate a value, you are out of my life, right? When I first had met Mariecris and got to know her family, although that moment happened where the whole moving in thing, outside of that, they've been so supportive of us. Why? Because they see what we are producing daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and the commitment that I have to her, that I never have ever relented back one step ever. If anything, I'm always like 3 or 4 steps ahead, and she's, you know, catching up with what I expect for what I believe our dream life can look like. She's got hopes, dreams, and aspirations. My job is just to create the pathway to be able to get there. Because the truth is, males understand. Males are simple. You give me a couch, a big screen TV, and a live screen of footy, and I'm happy, right? But I've got, you know, the other side of expectations is the holidays you want to go on, the cars you want to drive, the areas you want to live in. We live in a beautiful house in Port Melbourne, in a 3-story house right next to the beach. You know, I feel so fortunate. My dream was to live there. My dream. But once I met Mariecris, we created the pathway to be able to get there. Her family sees what the lifestyle that we get to live and the way we are with each other, the way we treat each other. And they look at it and say, I believe anyway, that they say, well, she's in good hands. On the opposite side of it, my mum and dad have taken Mariecris in like a blood daughter, not like a daughter-in-law, like a blood daughter. They treat her like proper family, like they really, really love her. And she always says this. She's like, I hit the jackpot with my in-laws. And I'm like, yeah, but you got to understand, you've got to have done a lot to get that, because they're not like that with every single person. And I can tell you my history. They have not been like that for pretty much anybody. So they found their right one. So when you've built up the trust and you adhere to all of their values, they'll give you the best, which is how I am as a person as well.
Yeah. So his father-in-law always after we he'll call me up for something because they're always still taking care of us even though we're grown. But he'll call me up and he goes, "Is Boris being nice to you? Is he because if not,"
But he says, "Has he made you laugh today?
If not, you come live with us,
And
right?"
if he makes you cry, we'll take him out." And I'm like,
The Russians, yeah.
and so she really wants to get me one day. She's like, "I'm going to go tell your dad."
I love that so much. That's a similar situation to our relationship. My mum's always like, "Victor, don't worry if you ever
If you ever get kicked out of the house, come and live with us.
with me." And I'm like, "What? I'm your daughter." You know, like, what is going on?
I mean, there was one case where Julia fell over and she bruised herself, right?
Yeah.
And then I went to her mum and was like, "Yes, I kicked your daughter in the shin." And then she was like, "Nah, bullshit." She fell over herself.
Yeah. My mum literally was like, "I know she fell over by herself." I was like,
I was
"What's
like,
this?"
you would have never done that.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
believe that too. I wouldn't believe that either. You couldn't do that, Victor.
Exactly. But yeah, it was just funny how it was testing. But
Yeah.
I mean, I love this conversation where we're talking about couples and relationships and also doing business together.
Yep.
I would love to hear more about these stories. How do you guys do it?
Yeah. How do you
How
juggle
do you
that?
juggle both business, life, relationships? When things go well, what happens? When things go bad, what happens?
Yeah.
Always being together 24/7.
Yeah. Have different offices at opposite ends of the office. That's a good idea.
With a door. That's
With
got
a
a lock.
door.
That's luxury.
But look, we've been together 9 years this year, been in business 7. So we went head like dove right in to business with each other. I already had the business. He came on board once I started it because our mentor told me to bring him on. I think at the start it was a lot harder because we were trying to navigate a new relationship plus being in business. So we were working each other out. The fact that we did a lot of personal and professional development really helped.
Yep.
You know, like I think if we hadn't laid the foundation with mentors, with coaches, communicating properly to each other, I think, we probably wouldn't be with each other, or we'd be in a worse state. Like we wouldn't be happy, where I feel now we actually every year just gets better. We get even happier. We fall more in love with each other, all that stuff. I know that's the corny bit, but it's true. When you've laid that foundation. So at the start it was harder because we had to understand what our strengths and weaknesses are, and then delegate roles to one another, and then just stick to them. That's the hardest part, because as entrepreneurs, you're just used to like dipping your fingers everywhere and like I'll handle this, and trusting that person has got your back and we've both got the same end goal. So how we get to that end goal, obviously it's going to be flexible. We have to be flexible to that, but we're both on the same team and we've got the same end goal. So there was a story that like I'm more operations. So I handle team and, clients. I'm across the whole property business side of things. Boris is probably more around the PE, private equity side. But we had a situation where we hired a sales manager a few months ago last year, and operations wise, like she wasn't hitting the target. She wasn't doing the things that we needed to be done. But I'm the nice guy, I'm the one
Nice
that's
girl or nice guy?
I'm a steady. I like the steady nature. I like I don't like heaps of risk. I don't like confrontation. I'm Filipino. We sort of like like try to be nice to each other, and we sugarcoat things at times. And so Boris had to step in and be the leader and performance manage her and be more of the alpha, because that's not something that I lean towards, even though it was still part of the property business and he's not really part of that. He had to step in, take that role on, because I know that he's better at it. He knows he's better at it. And I had to back off. Like he was like, don't go to the meeting, even though you know that, like, you're in here every single day in the trenches. Don't go to the meeting. I'll deal with her. I'll set the KPIs. I'll make sure she understands it. And I had to trust him to do that, even though she was technically my employee. So I trusted him to do that, and we had a great outcome.
Great.
The difference between, I guess, when there's couples who come together, we've learned is, Mariecris said, stick to your lane, right? There's a thing around stick to your lane, but it's clearly defined roles. So inside of the operation of a business, my best performance comes from creating. So I hit the streets, I'm out there traveling around Australia, traveling around the world, meeting people, meeting referral partners, meeting property developers, for example. So I create something that I bring back to the table. Now, everything I create doesn't always come to fruition, but I'm the one out there looking for the thing. I'm just naturally like that. I like to look for new things, hunt it, bring it back, and then I'm the what, I'm the why, she's the how. If she can't work out the how, it doesn't happen. I'm not going to argue with that. I'm like, well, brought an opportunity. You can't work with it. I'll go find another one.
Yeah.
But once opportunities come into the business, operationally, I just leave her to it. Like managing team, managing marketing, managing the client's journey, customer service, everything that's internal to a business, that's all Mariecris. I can guide her on it based on my own thoughts and opinions, but I'm not the one that sets the overall picture around it. She does that. She just tells me we've got capacity now for more business. So I go out there and put my foot down, create more business, bring it back in, because I'm sales, right? So I just create new things for the business to grow. Because I've got more time on my hands and because I am actively more involved in the coaching and the mentoring space, my ideas about what I can do, that I get the ideas from the people that I coach and mentor. Those people give me inspiration for things that we can do into our own business as well. Whereas she's more operational, she said it before, as a disc personality S profile, she's more, give me the work and I'll run with it. I'm more of the creator of it. So just stick to your lane. Know your roles, stick to your roles. Now, the times where they intersect, so think of like there's an X, right? So that would be an X if it was like that. We'd meet at the crossroad in the middle where I'll bring my bit, she then takes it and either she keeps running with it or I keep running with mine, but that's it. We don't tell each other how to do each other's job, which is what Mariecris was talking about in the early days. We're like, why haven't you done this? Why aren't you doing that? And it's like, that's not my role. And we didn't understand it until our coach said, this is what your strengths are, stick to your strengths. These are your strengths, stick to them. Stop trying to overlap. Now, because we do work closer together, but not involved directly in each other's space, we can still inspire each other with new ideas. She'll come to me and be like, I've got some ideas what you can do, but she'll never push it onto me to go do it. Same as me. So if you're saying, how do you grow as a couple, have other interests that are outside of the business as well. For example, private equity. I notice you've been promoting a lot through social media about building out your private equity firm. Having your interests in that and then bringing back new ideas actually helps. In a male scenario to a female, as a business partner and as a wife, that then helps strengthen your relationship because you feel like he's doing more. He just goes, well, you've got the gatherer aspect of it all to be able to make something happen. Allow him to just step out there and create something new every single time. Even if it's not even a good idea, you can give him feedback. Hey, that's not something we can really utilize this time. Next time, let's go do with something else. So I'm very seasoned at doing it. I'm still trying to learn how to do it better. But we wouldn't be doing Dubai or America, Southeast Asia, or anywhere outside of Australia if it wasn't for the push that I get from one side and then the encouragement that I get to keep going. But then on the other hand of it, I need to be supportive of my wife who does all the cooking in the house. I'll be like straight up, she says to me, you know, in her feminine nature is to provide a home for us to be relaxed into, to be creative in, to be away from the world, the nest, I think you call it, or the safe haven.
Yeah.
She creates that space for me to be relaxed into so I can go out there and create. My job is to not to try and create unnecessary chaos. So I limit the tumultuousness that she has to deal with and I step in on those times. So it's just you decide what you're good at and just have a clearly defined role and it gets reviewed. You can review it every 30 days or 90 days, but you literally performance review each other based on what's working. Don't say what didn't work. There's no point. We already know what didn't work. what's working and can you do more of that? That's what you do. Don't criticize each other because it gets you nowhere. Criticism is only ever taken, and it's harsh to say, but all criticism is always taken as a negative. Now, I try not to criticize. I try to be constructive as much as I can. But because of my tone of voice and my, my upbringing, my Russianness that seeps through, it can be perceived in the moment as criticism. But if you literally listen to the words that I'm saying, all I'm saying is how we can get better. Not you didn't. I will never say to somebody, "You're no good at what you do. You're terrible." I don't have that in me. Why would I say that to somebody? But that's the thing I'm still working on is the tonality of how to utilize it. But my strength has always been being direct with seeing something before it becomes a problem, addressing it as a current challenge and getting past it before it becomes a future problem that we can't overcome. So that's been my aspect of what I've stuck to, even in the sticky times where you probably didn't want to hear it. It has benefited us in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, as the more we do research on this, and like Boris said, we're still growing, we're still learning ourselves, we've still got mentors and coaches. Like we have really leaned into a traditional role, even though I started the business, our main business at least, the cash cow, if you want to call it that. And I've had to learn to step back because I want to nurture. Like I want to be the female. I want to be in that feminine energy, and I know that he's got that alpha energy. And I can't, I've had to learn not to have an ego about it, to know that we're on the same team. We've got the same goals. We're trying to create the same thing. And I have to put that ego aside just because I was the founder, just because I created this, because I know he's got so much strengths that I don't have, and to step back and let him do that.
Yeah, I really love that.
I mean, very similar, our first mentorship of how we should navigate business, and it came in the first 3 months of us coming together.
It was horrible.
I feel ya.
It was a shit show.
Yeah, I did not put my ego aside. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
For her,
It took a while for me to put my ego aside.
For her, it's like, how do I fire my husband?
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, how do I quit this job?
Seriously.
And that was the first 3 months of business together.
Yeah. I called my mother and I said I made a mistake.
I was like, and I'm like calling my old boss saying, hey, give me my job back. And it's like,
Same.
It was a really difficult time because we didn't know, we were overstepping each other. We had the same title.
Yeah.
It's like, we were both directors, but what?
Yeah,
directors of what?
And it was like, I realized how shit I was in everything in her business because I came from a different industry.
Yeah.
So holy crap, I need to learn so much.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I guess
you
her,
do.
what I'm good at is the financial side, and then what she is not good at is that as well. So 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2 necessarily. And I was like, okay, we've got to work on this. And that's how we came together. One of our mentors said, hey, you guys need to divide your roles properly.
Yeah,
Play
play with
what
your
is
strengths.
that? So, first business and didn't really know much about how to run it. That was the first thing that we actually sat down and do. And then once we actually divided the role and created different roles for ourselves and titles, then we stuck to that, and it worked way better.
And I like what you guys were sharing about that level of trust in each other as well, that you can go out and source, you can stay in and maintain and nurture and have full immense trust that the other person's doing their thing, and then just come together when you need to come together.
Well, the bank balance said so.
Yeah.
Because if the bank balance was reducing, then
there's
someone's not doing their role.
Some accountability, that's
enough.
black and white there. So, and that's where Boris is like, you don't actually have to say anything because the dashboard's showing something else.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Tell us a time when, I want to hear the fuck up stories. I want to hear the moment where something did go wrong in the business, perhaps, and it was like a lesson where you're like, I'm going to bring this with me everywhere I go.
I'll start with probably one of my biggest fuck ups. It wasn't it wasn't even a mistake because obviously I've grown through it. I understand the lesson that needed to happen for me to, experience that, for me to get something out of it and move on and be where we are now. But it was early on in business. I got into a partnership where it wasn't a fair partnership. And at that point, Boris just stepped into the business. And this is, I guess, where he really proved himself as that alpha, as that leader who could take charge and handle external partnerships and even developers that we work with. Because at the end of the day, I hate to generalize because I don't see myself like this. Like I've never created my narrative that I'm Asian and I'm a woman in a masculine dominated industry. I never thought of myself like that. I just thought, I want to do this, I'm going to go do it, you know? So that didn't become my narrative, which probably that naivety has helped me too, because I never pigeonholed myself. However, the reality is that is there. And so, you know, I wasn't getting, I wasn't having conversation with big developers because I'm Asian and I'm the wrong type of Asian too. There's, if anyone's watched Ali Wong, there's the jungle Asians and there's the fantasy Asians. So I'm in the jungle Asian side, right? But so if it was a Chinese, it might be a different story. But I never had that. I never sold that. Didn't sell me into that narrative. However, when I was having conversations and business dealings with big partners and developers, they weren't taking me as seriously. And I just thought, oh, they're just idiots and all that stuff. But I would take what I could get because I was starting a business and I was trying to create something. And I took a deal with a particular partner who it was just totally on their side. And long story short, I ended up having to pay them $300,000. I had already paid them $300,000, which was a huge amount of money for me, you know, starting in business. So I had already given him $300,000 and he was asking for another $300,000 for some clients that he passed through. Luckily, Boris was already in the business and we also had a mentor, but that I was losing sleep over this $300,000 that I owed him because I'm a person of integrity. And if I say that I'm going to do something, even if it's not fair, I've agreed to what I've promised something. I want to follow through on my promises. And for a whole year, I lost sleep over this deal because I was like, how do I pay this guy? He's taken all of my margins. I literally don't, like, we had offices, we had team already at this point. And luckily we had a mentor. Luckily I had Boris, you know, with his mafia vibes. And we got through it. But I guess out of that, the biggest lesson that I got from it is don't undervalue yourself and also have partners with the same integrity as you. Try to, like, obviously sometimes you don't know, you're gonna try and find that out. But as quickly as you find that out, move on if it's not the same value set as you.
Stemming from values. That's a really good
measuring.
I know, I'm looking at Victor, I'm like, yes.
But yeah, $300,000, that was like, I literally lost sleep over
so
it.
I held the integrity line the entire way through. I guess in a roundabout way, what happened was the business partnership is the one that helped us to get the business off the ground. But then it became a lopsided partnership where all the work was done by one company, but all the profits were going to parties who weren't contributing as much. And when I stepped in the final aspect of this partnership was I said, I don't care, we'll pay it out. The money's going to come, we're going to pay it out. They then, as I said before, violated a value of mine. And up until then, there were so many times where Mariecris was not sleeping, as in she would wake up shaking and sweating and everything. And I'm like, I don't know how much longer this can go on for. But I said, I've got a very strong value set and I've said something, we're going to pay it, we're going to get rid of these people. Actually, we weren't even planning to get rid of them. We were just like, we want to keep working with them, but we want to pay them the money that was owed from the partnership. And once a value was broken, I switched like that, gone. As soon as they broke that one trust moment, I just turned on them straight away. I just said, that's it, you're not getting the money. And we never heard from them again. Never. We literally have never heard from them again. Yes, we got legal advice over this and we were absolutely in the right. They were in the wrong. Luckily, the tide turned our favour because a new rule came in where they weren't able to actually get the sum of money from us in the first place without getting themselves into trouble. So in the end, I'm like, they're not getting anything. But once that happened, that was our growth moment. Because from that moment on, I said, we now have a new standard. We don't get walked over by anybody ever again. And that was it. Then Mariecris was like, all right, we need to create new partnerships. I went out finding new partnerships. We need to get better developers. I went out there and got developers. She'd walk into a room with a property developer or a builder, and they'd basically sit there, look and smile and whatever and leave and then give us nothing. Whereas when I stepped into the business, that's when all the best deals started coming our way.
I think I dealt with maybe because I've got an architecture background, so I had relationships from my previous career already. So, but I had 3 or 4 developers in Melbourne, Victoria. But as soon as Boris came, it just expanded it nationally.
Yeah.
And then we ended up having we've got maybe 200 now that we work with. Yeah.
Wow. So learning from that experience, which sounds so traumatic, and I totally get it, like keeping you up at night and that kind of
and Asians don't like debt, right? Like at least my parents, like they don't like debt. So for me, that was the worst thing that I could be in.
Feeling. What would you say would be on your partnership checklist now that will ensure that you don't enter another relationship like the one that you did?
Absolutely. I think the clients in I know that sounds cheesy, but putting the clients first in the sense that they need to get the value. If our partners are client focused, we know that they'll invest more in themselves, invest more in their team, invest more in their businesses, so that the client gets the value. Because if you give value to people, they'll the money will come. There's the money follows if the value is there. So I think for me at least, that would be my number one. That's my number one thing now. If they're not client focused, if they're money focused, or what's profit like going to be, I don't bother anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I manage all the partners. So when I'm canvassing people, you talk about a checklist. Is there a checklist? I'm probably more in the moment. I can feel the energy that they've got, and obviously have to refine it over a period of time. When I'm dealing with somebody, first and foremost, they have to look me in the eyes. If somebody's talking to me and they say one thing, and I could feel that they don't believe the things they're saying, I'm like, if you can speak to me like that before we do business, I don't actually want to know what it's like to do business with you. So that's the first part. So it's just the feeling that I get from someone. Second part, just to go further with what Mariecris was saying, client focused, I listen to the words they say, and if they say a lot of I and me, I'm already out. It's us and we. All right. If there isn't a connotation toward beyond me, then I don't want to work with them anyway. In the end, we're dealing with people's livelihoods. We can literally destroy someone's life if we partner with the wrong person, and I don't want to be responsible for that. Integrity is our highest value. Absolutely. We make sure that everything we say we're going to do, we do, and then some. And it's not even about under-promising and over-delivering. It's just over-delivering and then some. And you can speak to anyone we've ever dealt with. Not one person will ever turn around and be like, they didn't do what they said they were going to do. We did it. Yep. So when it comes to a partner, if their values don't align with something where I can feel the energy from them, and then if they don't think beyond themselves, that was never going to be a partnership anyway. But then when it comes back to it, it is, how do they honor us? We provide so much opportunity to so many other people. If anything, we talk about all the time how we give so much to the world, we don't expect much back in return. But if they don't actually respect us for the value that we're giving to them, I'm not going to work with them anyway. And I guess the other part of it is, in another sense is, I've got this theory around this, okay? And it's always been something I've worked with, is would I be friends with that person as a business partner? Is it just a business partnership, or do I actually like them as a person? And if that doesn't work, it's out. Then I go to the next phase, and this goes into friendships that I formed as well. Now, although we're not family, we haven't got a family yet, if I had family, if I had kids, would I trust that person to look after my child? If I said, hey, listen, I need to do something for a day, can you babysit? If I couldn't even think that they would be able to babysit our own kids, then I just don't want anything to do with them. I've got this value set that I've been born with. I have no idea why I've stuck with it, but it's worked for me. It's really benefited us. But when it comes to business partnerships, I still look at that. I go, is this somebody I'd invite out for dinner with us?
Yeah.
Is this somebody I actually value them as a human being? And if not, I just don't do it. Because there's too many non-profitable partnerships that people do just because, and they think that they're doing it for the money, but you end up losing more money because you lose clients. and we don't want to lose clients. All of our clients that we've been fortunate enough to work with, every one of them come back repeat business because we do the right thing by them. But that all starts with the partnerships, because I'm not a builder. I don't build houses. Although in my business consultancy, that's me and my knowledge, but I still got to go out there and meet people to be able to increase my knowledge base. The last thing I'll say on it is this. We do a lot of heavily invest into our personal and professional development. And if they laugh at personal and professional development because they don't do it themselves, that's an automatic, Mariecris calls it a red flag. I call it a blood red flag. That's like instantly out.
Yeah.
If you don't, when they laugh about different, you're doing another one of those courses or the workshops, whatever, I used to I kind of take it a little bit to heart at first, years ago. Now, if I ask them specifically, what have you done personally and professionally to develop yourself over the last 12 months, 2 years, and if they look at you blank faced, I automatically know that's not a person I'm going to work with. That comes to our friendships as well. That's why in our world, all of our friendships now, the closest relationships we now have are all people that are all part of our personal and professional development journey.
I love that.
I mean, so many things here that are gathered out from it. But, one thing was that partnership. Value alignment is so important. Like, we've, for ourselves even, going through partnerships and failed partnerships in particular is some of these things don't just come overnight. It comes over a period of time, and then realizing these things and then having at the end is what happens at the end as a result.
What learnings you get out of it. Yeah.
Yep. And how long do you endure this partnership for? And getting to know that person. And I love how you said, would you let your kids or babysit your kids? One of the things was really interesting. I was like, we were just talking about this just outside the doors before. I was like, you guys are like, I love your kids. Like, hey, take them. Like, we're like, yeah, we trust you to take our kids immediately. So it's like,
you might not get them back though.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, I'm fine with that too. But it is that funny thing where it's like, it is that trust building. That's so important.
The gut
to have
feeling
this
is
gut feeling.
quite often right as well.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that works.
Yep. And I mean, one of the things that we wanted to ask is when you're formulating these partnerships, like, and you've gone through the deal where you weren't in a position where they provided back, and how important is that in terms of formulating partnerships that work both ways?
it's everything. It's the whole. It's whether or not that partnership's going to be sustainable. Because just like anything, even in relationships, like if it's not an equal value add, sooner or later someone's going to feel like they're not valued and they're not appreciated, and they're going to walk away eventually. Same with business partnerships. So I think it's super important, because you can, maybe rip someone off for a certain period of time, but is that sustainable, and does that really get you your end goal in the future? Like if you have a great partnership that's lasted, like we've got one of our partners right now, he's an accountant, and we've offered him a space in our office to work there. And he's been in some kind of partnership with us for the last, say, 6 years. And it works both ways. He gets something out of it, we get something out of it, and it's sustainable over a long period of time, because it's a 50-50 value add. Because if it's not, then someone's going to walk away.
Yeah, absolutely. The moment that I can see inside of a partnership, because I'm quick to cut people off if it's not going to be beneficial, but the moment I can see that they're not putting our clients first, or their own clients first, through conversations they have. For me, I was brought up in an environment where money was never the issue. We were always going to be able to make money. So I'm not chasing money here. I know the money will come to us anyway. Our integrity of a business and reputation is everything. And if our reputation is going to be tarnished in some sort of way, I don't want to associate with that person anymore. And whereas Mariecris still does have like an element of holding on to slightly, I know that inside of me, once I know it's done, there's no going back. I'm like, you violated it, I'm out. In recent times, in the middle of deals that are happening where we'll be in a partnership, I'll be very quick to switch them to somebody else that we're going to be working with instead of that partner and tell them straight to their face and say, this isn't going to work out anymore. I've seen your conduct and your behavior. You violated our value set and you're never going to work with us ever again.
Wow.
Which is harsh, right? But in the end, it's what served us to help us to be able to grow and grow faster, to make sure we're not being anchored down by baggage that's going to prevent us from being able to get to where we want to faster.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add and perhaps unpack a little bit more, because I feel like in this conversation and what you've shared so far, there's a level of confidence that you guys have. And I think we see this obviously on the stage when you guys are presenting, and then also through our friendship as well. But you guys always execute your business with a level of confidence in belief in yourself and the trust and clearly the relationship you guys have together. Can you share with our listeners, how do you build that level of confidence in yourself, obviously in your said values, and in your everyday actions when you are operating a business?
Can I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll make it real simple. Results.
Yeah.
The confidence is built based on the results we've been able to help other people get, whether it's results helping a business grow, whether it's results helping a client to become financially free or retire, whatever it looks like in our journey, it's through results that's where the confidence comes from. When we first started, the only confidence we had was we wanted to do more, have more, be more, and work towards it. But now with thousands of people that we've now helped for a long period of time and not seen one bad review or anybody never wanting to work with us ever again, it's like we believe that we've got the right formula to help other people to achieve as well. So that confidence only exists. I mean, to us, we're still thinking we need more confidence. If the fact that you're saying it right now, I'm like, maybe I need to tone it down a little bit. But it only comes down to results. And, you know, I think the interesting part when I think about the entire journey of entrepreneurship, it's also pushing boundaries and taking risks and not failing. We haven't fallen flat like a pancake ever. You know, you asked the question before about what mistakes have you learned from. Think about what we gave as an example. That was early days. Lately, because we get mentorship, because we get coaching, because we're always being given the right guidance, support and advice at every step of the way, that confidence builds in us because other people believe in us. And when that belief is instilled into you, you got no right but to go further, faster, harder, and to be able to create something. Because I know that people that we talk to, they'll say, oh, I'm inspired by things you guys have done. And I'm like, man, are you serious? I'm inspired by so many other people. I'm glad that in some way somebody can say that in a conversational sense, but then that obligation to us goes, we need to go bigger, further, faster, international, global. We've got to be doing those sort of things because we've got a standard that we set. So that confidence is simply based on results that we've got for ourselves and obviously helped other people get too.
I love that.
I agree in that results. I think the other thing that we talk about this all the time, where we're lucky enough to have really good families. So that's the foundations. We've been brought up in a really stable household. Both of our parents are still together. We've got siblings and extended family. So that was, we were already winning at life, just starting off that way. And then when I I was brought up in the church, in the Baptist church, so it was always natural for me to be a avid learner, learn how to be a better human being and better yourself. But I really leaned in my early 20s, I really leaned into personal development. And then from personal development, it got me into business development. So I definitely invested a lot in myself and my growth, and that confidence has just come from that too. But I think there's a certain point, and I've talked about this a lot with Boris, where there's people that are so obsessed with going to all the seminars, doing all the things, and they're still seminar junkies, and they're still like, oh, but I still don't value myself, or I still have self-worth issues. And I had a mentor once who said this to me, and I think when it was probably the 15th year that I was doing personal development, and he just hit home, and he said, we had the conversation, we were talking about worthiness. And he was just like, you're already worthy, you don't even have to do the thing or build the empire or have the relationship or have the kid, you're already worthy. But the fact that you're here, that you won the lottery of life and that you've got an opportunity to have this human experience, that's worthiness already. So I think there has to come a point where you just have to believe all of the things that you were taught in the personal development space, because some people go into this spiral of I'm never worthy and I need to go to that next seminar to feel worthy and feel good about myself. And that comes from the results too. Like I've already produced something. I've already won the lottery of life. I've already allowed to have this human experience. So I'm already worthy. And that's where my confidence comes from.
Yeah, I love that. The importance of self-worth as well.
And we don't want to let down the people that have believed in us along our journey as well. There's obviously going to be people that have doubted you along the way and projected their own shortcomings. And I've got a whole thing around that as well. But then there's so many people that are like from a young age in my life who have always said, you're destined for greatness. You're always going to be something amazing. And I always think in the back of my mind when we're about to do something, on the hardest day, you're like, I just can't be bothered today. I think about those people that have always inspired me. Those people always believed in me. And I don't want to let those people down. I want them to turn around and be like, I knew it. I knew you had it in you. I always believed in you. And I'm like, you know what? If that's what my life can be as an inspiration back to the people that actually believed in me in the first place, then I think I'm doing all right.
Yep. I mean, such a big fact of this worthiness that we're talking about here, because I guess like we've grown up in very different environments as well, and it was something, for even myself, like battling this worthiness and one of the things that happened to me was when we actually got mentorship, and this is a couple of years ago where there was a massive breakthrough for me, and it was all about that mentor that helped break through these things and these barriers, and there was like definitely a ceiling that's keeping me in this box for a long time. And that breakage was really, really important in my life. And this goes for you when you're looking at your younger years, there was an organisation that supported you and believed in you, and these things make such a big difference in people because it's the way that we're brought up, and that encouragement is actually really important. So
But I really like what you shared about the idea of, at the end of the day, it's like you are worthy wherever you are at in your life at this point in time. And I think for me, it took me a while to kind of clock that, because I feel like, growing up poor and then having, great support around and encouragement to do more and do better. For me, like what you were saying, Boris, it ended up being this immense pressure that I was like, you can't stop now. Yeah. You can't let them down. And I'm constantly, no matter how much I achieved, and now whatever we achieve, it's like we don't even take time to kind of pause and celebrate until we started doing this personal development, and obviously met you guys as well in the last 3 years, where we actually gave ourselves permission to actually just like reflect back on and go, hey, you know what? We just won this deal. We, just had a baby. We just did all these cool things. Like we've actually achieved so much, and that you're allowed to celebrate the success and you're allowed to feel worthy in the moment. Of course, there's heaps more that we want to do, but it's not about kind of trying to get to the end goal and then feel like you're worth it. So I don't even know how we got to this point of conversation.
But that's where it always takes you. It's interesting. As soon as you go into that topic, your mind starts to move. Why? It's not a normal conversation. That's why I love being in the environments we're in, because we get to have these sort of conversations that maybe you would have with each other on occasions, but you don't have it with other people. Once you're around enough people that are also experiencing things, because they've moved past an old version of themselves, they've shed this version of themselves that doesn't exist anymore, and they move into this new space. So it almost feels like it's an unknown. So when you get to that, like, how do we get to that? It's because it's important. Why don't we talk about these things more often? I can imagine the society that we've got literally out the front of these doors right now, where there's somebody out there that doesn't believe in a pay rise, even though they can't afford their rent this week. Another person that needs to buy a new car, but because the car they've got right now is unsafe and they are too scared to even take the family on a road trip somewhere. People are unworthy, feeling that they deserve more. But yet, the more we talk about it, the more people realize they already were worthy.
Yeah.
They just need to ask for what they want, behave like they've already got it, and then the universe will do its thing and let us have it.
Yeah, it's so true for the weirdest time. And it's so true about the conversation you have between yourself and not publicly. Because I always say this to Victor, and because this charity has helped me in my early days, I used to go to the events and I would like take off all my jewelry. Because I weirdly have this young version of Julia who's still poor at these events. And I'm like, I can't be seen wearing, diamonds or whatever now, because that's like, that would be wrong. And then and Victor would always be like, just bloody wear it, like I bought it for you, you should wear it, and you should wear it. Like they want to see you succeed, but in my head, I've always had this thought and this feeling of like, no, it's like I'm not worthy of like being there and showing my success. Like I need to remain the same. And that thought process, obviously has been lifted over the years.
And I think I always use this scenario as who can you inspire in that room that is that young person. It's like you got to show the people that you're supported by this organisation, and this is where you're at in life. And that's where it's like, don't go if the organisation had no effect on you, that's when you're still poor after going through this whole entire journey. And this is where like we have to showcase the journey changes from that because of that reason of the organisation existing. Otherwise, we would probably still be poor and not have the confidence to actually go into business.
People. Yeah.
I've got a story to share around a breakthrough moment of worthiness. So when I first met Mariecris, we had already moved in together and we started on our personal and professional development journey. And Mariecris's dream car was to drive a Lexus.
Yeah.
Context.
Because in her family, everyone drives Toyotas, and Toyotas are a great car, right? Now, I just want to explain. I'm a Russian background. Like, the Toyotas you drive are like, it's like a hand-me-down from the grandma. I don't know where they got it
They're
from.
reliable cars.
I got reliable.
Yeah, so reliable.
They
That's
never
why
break
you
down.
I've got nothing against Toyotas, right? I've got nothing against it. But when Mariecris was telling me that she has a dream, not only to drive a Lexus, but a convertible Lexus. Was it IS 200 convertible?
I don't even remember
250C.
now. It's out,
250C, right?
it's out of my head now. I didn't buy it.
And she's scrolling through car sales, looking for cars to buy. And in my head, I'm like thinking, I'm looking at the price of these cars, and I'm like, it's a Toyota, yeah? She goes, yeah, but it's a fancy Toyota. And what do you mean? It's a Lexus. And I'm like, okay, listen. For the money you're about to spend, we could probably just amp it up a little bit more and we can get a European car. And
Influence and persuasion.
Right? And she says to me, no way can I afford a European car. And I'm like, well, okay, I just want to show you some prices of these cars and see what you think. Now, I already knew in my head, influence and persuasion, I already knew in my head the exact car we're going to buy. It's a Mercedes-Benz E250 coupe. In a Tenorite grey, like a gunmetal grey colour. I already knew it. I knew it. But I'm not going to say to her, this is what you're going to buy, because like it would freak her out. So a couple of things happened. First of all, we went and did some test drives. I still remember this test drive we did. So she wanted a convertible. It's Melbourne. We go to the city, we jump into this Lexus, and she goes, let's take the roof off. It's Melbourne. She's sitting there like, because it's windy and cold, right? So that's the first one. And I sat in the back seat.
We look cool.
I sat in the back seat, and it was lucky I was, because I was kind of like laughing under my breath. I'm like, why do you want a convertible in Melbourne? Like, what, for that 2 days a year where it's actually worthwhile, and you forgot to take it off, so you only really got 1 day a year to use the convertible roof? So that was the first part. The second part that came out of it was she went, I'm a bit uninspired by the internal of the car because it just looks like a Toyota Corolla. I didn't say anything. I'm like, oh, well, whatever. So then this is the next part that happened, the worthiness, right? So we had a partner meeting, like a potential property developer we're going to work with. And I said to her, hey, I've got an idea. Let's rent a Mercedes-Benz for the weekend. We're going down to the Mornington Peninsula and we're going to be meeting our potential future business partners who we can work with, and we get to drive a cool car. And we looked at, again, the price difference to rent a Mercedes over a regular car was only like $50 or $100, whatever. And it's like, it's worth it. We went down to a business partner meeting, right? Rocked up in a Mercedes-Benz, brand new because it's a rental, right? Now, it doesn't say on it Avis or budget cars or anything. It's just a Mercedes as far as they're concerned. We turned up, we got there. Mind you, up until that point, property developers, very scarce that they wanted to work with us.
Yeah, they were judging my calls. It was hard to get that
They wouldn't even take the call
to begin with.
So we rock up. We get there. They're driving a Mercedes. We're driving a Mercedes. We get out of the car. What do we talk about? The cars. Where are you going to now? Mornington Peninsula for the weekend. Yeah. They're looking at you as a lifestyle, right? And then at the end of it, I'm like, okay, so let's talk about doing business. Yeah, no worries. We'll send you across the contracts and we'll do business with you. We get back in the car. Mariecris like, what just happened? I'm like, it's the car. You've got to understand that it's not about the car. It's what the car represents. And I'm like, that's the standard. This is what I'm trying to show to you. So then the worthiness aspect then kicks in. She's like, oh, so we can get more deals if we drive a cool car. I'm like, yeah, we can get more deals if we drive a cool car. Let's start looking for one. Then the next part comes up. Why don't people buy a Mercedes or a European car? Servicing. Oh, it's going to cost so much. Because everyone who doesn't own one is like, oh, they cost so much to run on the road. Do they? They only cost more if you don't treat them right. Yep. Because they're actually made of better parts. They last longer. Does it cost more to buy a part? Yeah. On our side, fortunate enough, my dad owns a car yard. He's been in car sales since 1993. He knows everybody in the area. For us to get a Mercedes-Benz service is the same as a Toyota anyway. So the aspect of how much is it going to cost to keep the car has now been taken off the table. We ended up buying a car. I still, what was his name? Warren? Nigel. So you're going to love this. I've got my principles of all these lessons that I've learned in life. And I was looking for, yes, yeah. Now it's the politically incorrect part of the show. Where this aspect of shopping for a car came down to this. I would look at the suburb of where the car's from, and I'd look at the person's name. And if that looks like the name and the suburb of someone that would drive that car, it's probably in good condition. So I've got this rule around it. So if somebody is from, say, deep west, and it's a Mercedes-Benz with low kilometres and they've got a very ethnic name, it's probably a car that's bought from the auctions and they've wound back the clock. I'm just going to have to make that assumption. So I made a phone call to a guy and his name was John from Toorak. I'm like, John from Toorak. We could buy a car from John from Toorak. I get on the phone call. I spoke to the guy in his very thick ethnic accent, then says to me, no worries, brother. Meet me at the Roxburgh Park Shopping Centre car park. Yeah. I'll be there in a couple of hours. I hung up the phone. We are not meeting Moe from Roxburgh Park. God. The next car that we got was Nigel from Mordialloc. I said to Mariecris, that's who you buy your cars from. Nigel from Mordialloc. We went out there. We saw the car, fantastic condition. Exactly what I told you before. Yep. Mercedes-Benz E250 coupe in a Tenerife grey. It's exactly what I was thinking in my head. I visualized it. I just had to sell it to her. And now we're in the car. She gets in the car and she said the exact words, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. And we bought it. Yeah. For cash. Thanks to the money that we made through our mentorship, that we get amazing strategies, sales, everything to make the money to be able to buy. We shouldn't have bought it in cash, but you know, we learned. But that was the last ever time that we made that poor person mistake, okay? We didn't know. But we did it. And that worthiness then came through because after that, now Mariecris's standard is, I'm not driving any understandard cars other than the car that we need. So because of my dad's car yard, I just drive whatever. I haven't bought a car since 2005. So all my cars that I drive are all off a car yard. I get to drive them, have fun with them, go out to construction sites and go wherever I need to. They serve my purpose. But Mariecris has now got a new standard because she feels worthy.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. I think that's a beautiful story.
Nigel from Mordialloc.
Nigel from Mordialloc, not Moe from Roxburgh Park.
What claims to be in Toorak. I love that. And I just love, I feel like there's probably a part of you in the moment of the two Mercedes coming together of being like, this is good ROI. You know, this is what we would say.
I want to say
that deal that we're talking about, that deal was worth hundreds of thousands of dollars to us over a short period of time. So the car rental for the day to break past that breakthrough to worthiness was worth very lucrative money-wise.
Yeah.
I was about to say, it's very hard to break an Asian out of maintenance of a Toyota.
Yes. We've had Alexas before, and I still love them.
Until we actually went.
Dad bought my Lexus. He bought it like last year. He bought his dream Lexus. And I looked at it, and I didn't say it to him because I love my dad. But I'm like, I'm glad I didn't buy this car because it feels I like a Toyota. But each to their own. And I was having this conversation with my dad. It's like, if I didn't have the ambition to leave the Philippines, you'd be in Santa Ana where we live in Manila, and you'd be like living with all your cousins because we couldn't, like, everybody would just divide that lot with all the kids that are there. I'm like, well, I'm glad that you decided to do that, Dad, because I've got expensive taste. So
She does now.
She does now. I love that. Now, I think we can go on for hours.
Sorry.
We're 80 minutes in. But I do want to round out this conversation, especially with you guys as empire builders, multiple businesses, private equity, relationship as husband and wife. If you can give just one advice, you can have one each, to our listeners who are perhaps maybe like you, currently in a job wanting to venture out into business, or perhaps like yourself, Boris, getting themselves fired time and time again, deliberately or not. What would be one advice that you can share with our listeners who are wanting to get into entrepreneurship? What would be their first step?
For me, definitely don't be afraid of the hustle. Like, you're not going to get something that other people don't have if you're not prepared to really apply yourself and work hard. So definitely that first few years of being an entrepreneur is the hardest. I was in a day job, sold an investment property to make it work, and also working 7 days a week in my first year of being an entrepreneur, but it was on my terms. And now we're able to have this life by design that we talk about because of the hard work that I did at the start. Because I feel like a lot of kids, or not like adults these days, will get into entrepreneurship, quit their job, and go all in like being an entrepreneur in this one idea, and they put all of their eggs in one basket. And for me, I'm conservative. I don't like a ton of risk, and that's why I did those three things. I sold an investment property to float me, which was a great investment property. I wish I could have kept it, but that was the reality. I doubled down on working hard, and I knew though it wasn't going to be forever, and it wasn't. Now we're here with you on Monday, and we don't have to be anywhere today. We worked on Saturday, so we get to choose this life. But if you are someone that's looking to be in step from that corporate or that employment role to being an entrepreneur, I actually negotiated with my director at the time in that architecture firm. Can I, do 4 days, 3 days while I'm setting this up? And because I had enough rapport with him, because I had really built the business with him, he let me do it. So he knew that I was exiting out eventually, and he was super supportive. Always going to have employees like that, because then I moved on to another employee because I was getting my real estate license, and I worked for a real estate agency, and they weren't as supportive because they didn't know me. I hadn't been in the industry for long enough, but I was working 6 days there, and I was working on my side hustle, which is the business that we have now that makes us the millions of dollars, at night and on a Sunday. Luckily, I was single at the time. I met Boris later on, but I did really apply myself. So I think you can't shortcut the hard work. It comes hand in hand, but it'll be worth it. It'll absolutely be worth it, and you will get the things that you desire, the lifestyle that you want, if you just apply yourself at the beginning.
I love that. Thank you. Boris?
So I'm just going to give myself advice if I could go into my DeLorean time machine. And I'd say first and foremost, by far and away, stop talking about your business ideas, about starting a business with people who have never been in business, full stop. They're going to fill you up with doubts. They're going to fill you up with their own projection of their own shortcomings of all the things they haven't done themselves. Stop taking advice from people who haven't done it, full stop. It's as simple as that. Secondly, get around people, obviously in business, and ask them, if you're starting out in business all over again, what would you start doing first? What would you do after that? And then talk about the shortcomings, but also the success out of it as well. And I think the most important thing, stick to a field of something that you are already experienced in. Do you know how hard it is? The hardest thing of starting business is clients that pay you money. You can have the best product or service in the world. It doesn't matter. If you don't have anybody that can actually buy it from you, you're going to be out of business pretty quickly. So don't just jump on the bandwagon of something like, oh, AI is big now, or digital marketing. Oh, I can make some money out of that. Go into a field of something, because remember, your first business is probably not going to be your only business. You're going to be involved in lots of other things. So go straight into a field of something where it's involving people you've already got in your own database, your own network, they can actually purchase from you. That's the first step. Always look for something you can provide based on the people that you already know that are going to buy it in the first place. After that, be ready for the fact that you're not going to get a weekly, monthly paycheck. You're going to, our first couple of years, all the money we made went back into the business. We kept getting told to trust the process. I'll tell you what, that trust in that process wore real thin at times when we were dead broke for months at a time, where I'm on the phone using my sales skills, talking to Telstra not to cut off my phone bill, talking to the electricity company to keep the lights on because we're about to have a meeting with somebody who could be that one contract we sign that sets us up forever. Be okay being uncomfortable with lumpy paychecks, the fact that all the money you make goes back into your business of mass, as we know, marketing, advice, systems, everything that we've been investing into ourselves. I wish we just invested even harder earlier. Be around the right people who encourage you, who see the good in you, who actually genuinely want to win. And how do we know if they want you to win? Because they actually help you get a client. They recommend you to someone. They share that Facebook post on your behalf. They call some of their friends up and say, have a chat with that guy because he's involved in something right now that I think is important to you. Nobody that wants to see you win can prove it more than if they actually get you a new client to work with. So put yourself out there. Go into rooms, go to conferences, go to seminars, go to anywhere you can, expos where you can go and meet people in business and ask them how they did it. Don't ask them what they're doing now, because you've got the steps to take. Because too many people will read a book. Warren Buffett, what's he doing now? I'll just do that. No. He had a lot of steps he had to do to get to be that guy. Elon Musk, what's he up to now? Listen, you don't have billions and trillions of dollars here, okay? You've got to start from the beginning of the story, not at the end of the story. So I just think that element of who you're around, who you're surrounding yourself with, will be the determining factor of success or not. Because you're not going to be successful only hanging out with people if you try to build a business who have never done it themselves.
It takes a village. It takes a village.
It does.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing such great advice. I think in both your tips, the reality is you have to hustle and you have to be comfortable, like you said, lumpy paychecks, but the reality of the unknown as well, being entrepreneurs, all of us are. But really great advice, and clearly showing us and showing our listeners where they can be as well following your journey. So thank you so much for joining us on the couch today. We had such a great chat. We might have to invite you back for part 2 as we want to hear more great stories. But for now, thank you again. And we can't wait to see where you guys get up to next.
Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys. And we've been really inspired by your journey to date over a number of years now. We've been watching you grow, and it's a fantastic opportunity that you've created for all of your audience and that. And we really appreciate us being able to have a chance to share our story too.
Yay, thanks.